Hey guys, this is Brian with turfmechanic.com. Today I'm going to be leveling out some of the unevenness that I've got here in the front lawn. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm not bringing in any dirt or topsoil or anything like that, and I'm going to be doing this in a less than conventional way. Let me show you the two spots that I'm actually most concerned about. Lawn, for the most part, isn't so bad, and I understand the lighting is bad, so let's get into the shadow. There's my shadow. All right, right here in the middle of the lawn, I've got a sprinkler head, and this whole spot kind of depresses down. I'm on the ground over there, it's above the ground there, and I'm on the ground right there. Basically, everything right here around the sprinkler head in this area is just low. And if I take a lawnmower too low, it's going to hit this thing. So I was planning on removing this and replacing it, but instead I'm going to bring the soil up a little bit. Now my other spot over here is this. It's like a hole in the ground. Look how deep that is. What is that, like 4 inches or so? Just a big old hole. And not that I'm very good at doing camera work, but there's a high spot in between the two low spots. So basically what I want to do is I want to take soil from the high spots into the low spots. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a project similar to this out on my parkway strip. And all of the green is really starting to come back. See that? It's starting to look pretty good. A couple weeks ago, I took material from this side and I pushed it over towards the curb to kind of level it this way a little bit more. Right now I'm going to go ahead and take the same electric dethatcher, put the bagger on it, and I'm going to run over everything, power rake it deep, collect all of the material, and take it up to the main lawn. So basically I'm just going to redeposit dirt where I don't want it, these high spots here on the parkway strip, and I'm going to put it in the low spots in the lawn. A little bit later, maybe in about a week or so, I'm actually going to run an aeration device, aeration machine over this. I think I'm actually going to hire a local company to do it because I'm not equipped to go, like I don't have a trailer out there, so I can't go rent a machine and bring it here easily. So I'm going to have this thing aerated. I'm going to keep the cores on the ground, and then once those cores are there, I'm going to rake cores into those low spots as well. All right, so what did that take me? About 20 minutes or so. It didn't take me that long, and I just harvested dirt from other places in my property that were on the high end. Like there's just too much dirt there, so just take it. Fill in the spot. I used some water, tamped it with my foot, used my leveling rake. It's not complicated. There is organic material in that dirt, so it will, and the dirt will compact over time. So at some point that spot is going to get low again, but it's certainly not going to be 4 inches low. So most likely later this year, maybe even this spring, I'll come back and do it again. But that's just that spot. Now I got to do the bigger, shallower spot in the middle. Honestly, I think this one will be easier. Before I do that middle spot, I want to show you just how much dirt I've harvested and from where. So basically, I'm just harvesting from the end of my parkway strip. This is one of the higher sections of the parkway strip, and I mean, it's hardly anything at all. So I'm just harvesting the upper layer of dirt from probably about 100 square feet. Hey, there's my cat. Not that big of a deal. I'll come back over here with a broom and polish this up once I'm done, make it clean again, and then all of the grass is just going to come right on back. Look at this. I mean, I know it's like scalp down short, but it just comes right back. All right, I've only harvested maybe about half, like I've gone about halfway down my parkway strip. It's a long strip, but still, it's probably only about 225 square feet that I have harvested from. Just for the middle section here of the yard, this is the part that's less deep. It's more shallow but wide. I've got 9 little piles here that I've collected from my dethatcher. For this, I want to put more soil down than I think I need. And the reason for that is I expect it to settle down no matter how much I tamp it with my foot or some sort of a tool. And I don't really want to come back and do this again. The deeper spot over there is smaller, so if it settles, I can easily do that little spot again in the middle of the season, and it's not going to make a big difference. Also want to note that, so I'm going to flatten this out like right now, you'll watch it here on the screen with my leveling rake, but I am watering these things I'm watering these things because there's some grass clippings in there, stolons. Those things are going to reroot. The grass on my parkway strip is the same stuff that's here in the main lawn, so I'm not worried about that. And I'm not worried about weeds. You guys shouldn't always be too concerned about weeds. We can always deal with that later. The important thing, in my opinion, is to have a level, or let's call it a flat, a lawn space that you feel like is smooth, easy for you to walk on, play on, and use your lawnmower on. The water helps all of that dirt settle down so that I can, let's say, ensure that I'm getting minimal settling over time. If I can get the water to settle the dirt down as much as I can now, then it will settle less later. I didn't really want to lose the sprinkler head, but I lost it. It's somewhere in there. Shouldn't be too deep. If I pop the sprinkler, turn the sprinkler on, it should pop up still. As I tell my kids all the time, we got to clean up after ourselves. All right, here we are 5 days later. It's been 5 days since I did the leveling work. You can see kind of behind me, there's the middle spot, and behind the shadow back there is the deeper, smaller spot. Obviously, things aren't growing back in yet, but the dirt has settled a bit, and I found that the deeper spot, cats want to dig in. So if your spot is deep and you got a lot of loose soil there, you might have to protect it so that cats don't dig in it. I'm going to have to do that. I'll probably have to put something over it. Depending on the grass type that you have, if you have a spreadable grass type, it will spread back in. If you put an enormous amount of dirt over it, you might want to have some seed on hand to throw some seed down, especially since everything is all loose. This particular spot right here, I will probably need to put a little bit of seed on. However, I'm not going to do it. So there's literally going to be a spot in the lawn here with no grass for a couple months. And the reason for that is I don't want to put some seed there, because in a few months, I'm going to go ahead and kill off the lawn and put brand new seed everywhere. I just want to start that process from a flat surface. Now, if you're curious, this is my harvest zone for the whole area. This is what it looks like 5 days later. See that? Doesn't look like there's any long-term permanent damage. Leveling a lawn is not as complicated as some people make it seem to be. It's not that big of a deal if you're doing the worst spots. I mean, most people don't need an ultra flat lawn. We just need to fill in holes. We just need to get rid of lumps, things like that. You can do this sort of work in like 20 minutes. That's literally the amount of working time that I did. Now, I probably cleaned up and then did some other yard work for a little bit, but the actual leveling job for these 2 low spots was probably about 20 minutes. Now, if you do want to take on a more substantial leveling project, make sure to see my lawn leveling mistakes video, which I've got linked up there. I did a substantial leveling project last year and ran into a good handful of pitfalls. There's also a video linked down in the description below where I describe why a lawn leveling rake isn't always necessary. So if you don't have a lawn leveling rake, go ahead and take a look at that next.